It's my beautiful LS upside down. Why? Because I have this nice gash here. So graceful. See, I knew that was a good color choice. We had to paint this one.
See how much longer it is? That's gonna be sweet.
Heck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, Lite Brite Nation?
What's up, Lite Brite Nation?
We got the CJ back in the house.
Yeah. So now I got everything together to put AC and heat in this thing. He should be bringing me the top because can't have heat and AC with an open cab. So he's bringing us a new top.
There's
new
some
doors.
people that probably do that though. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, at least you got heat blowing on your face. That's nice. But yeah, so he's gonna bring us some doors and a roof. I got all this stuff. We're gonna change the whole front assembly on this thing because I don't know what assembly was on the front, so we couldn't figure out how to put AC in it nicely without screwing it all up. So we're gonna yank off everything off the front of the motor, put a whole new front assembly on there, new pump, new AC alternator, new AC compressor, everything. So it'll be all nice. And he wants it black because everything's orange and black. So the first thing we gotta do is tear this thing all down. So, you ready?
Ready.
Let's get some wrenches. So as you can see, we just have to take off all of this front assembly. I don't know what serpentine belt kit this was. So I just ordered a whole new kit and it's gonna replace everything. So he's gonna get a new alternator anyway. That's the PSCP pump. So we're gonna leave the PSCP pump. But then we get to put a Sandin AC compressor, gets to go down in here and get all that hooked up. We'll put some neat bulkhead hoses through here, so all the hoses will go in. We get to redo these two heater lines, get to go inside. I'm gonna do some battery. I'm gonna change this battery up a little bit, but yeah, that's about it. Beck's gonna get the grill off. We'll pull the two fenders off. We're gonna leave the bumper on there because that was a pain in the butt to get on to begin with. So we're gonna drain the coolant and we'll get this thing torn down.
Show us the spaghetti mess.
Oh yeah, so this is pretty much assembled when we had it last time. We just basically put all the bodywork back on it. But all these hard lines, this hard line does a loop and goes to here, which is fine. But the other hard line off of this box goes like up, goes to a rubber line, swirly swoops around, and then goes back into this pump. So we're gonna chop all of this off, and I'm gonna redo all of these hoses too while we're at it. All of this loopity loop is gonna go. And we'll get rid of that. We gotta get this pulley off of here, but this is a PSC pump, so we need to keep this pump. We're gonna get the front all cleaned up and finish tearing the power steering off, and then we'll start going back together. New parts, new parts. It's all black, because Jen wanted it all black. So it's got all new pulleys, a new Sandin AC compressor. This is the whole reason why we got this whole kit, because it moves the alternator to the other side so that we can put this down there. New water pump, all new black brackets, the idler, and a new alternator, all black. So he's gonna be super happy about that. We got the motor cleaned up, so now Beck's gonna put it back together. So one thing I like to do is I just like to put a little RTV on my fingers and then just dab it on both sides of the gasket. I don't want too much, but this kind of makes it just stick. So now it'll just stick on the block and then you can put your water pump on.
Which is nice because in the past I've always been so concerned, like as you're putting the water pump on, what if the gasket moves out of place and then like you have a leak problem later? So
and that's it.
Sweet.
Now it'll stick right on there. And then it just sticks.
Ta-da!
Awesome. Now you can put your water pump on.
So speaking of water pumps, I gotta show you guys something. Kind of sucks. So that little Suzuki Jimny that I got that I absolutely love, well, the water pump was weeping and I didn't really know. I'm just driving it, having fun. Well, I guess it overheated because, I mean, there is a temperature gauge, but I'm kind of pissed off. I mean, not really, I'm just mad at myself. Well, water pump was leaking. It got to the point where it was low. The thing doesn't run hot ever. And then I guess when I was on the highway, just cruising home, and you kind of have to death grip it. Wasn't paying too much attention, death gripping it, staying on the road. And I got back, then I noticed there was coolant everywhere. So then I thought it was just the water pump, but I was trying to plug it and see what's going on, and it turns out I think I actually blew the head gasket. Now this isn't a motor that comes here, so now I'm trying to find what water pump I need. And now I gotta pull the whole top of the motor off to do a head gasket because I'm a dummy. But what's dumb is, look, it's right in my face. So like the gauge is right there, you know, clear as mud. No, I mean, it's super clear. So anyway, I just wasn't paying attention. So now we got to get into this thing and see what it looks like. So let's take a look. Stepchild's being worked on. Got the front shocks being rebuilt. Well, we just rebuilt them. So that's gonna go back on, and then we're waiting on the T-case. So this little guy, it was puking out over here, but it was also puking out down there. And so we gotta try to find the right water pump for this thing. It's pretty old. We probably have to get all these gaskets. So I need like a whole top end gasket rebuild kit. Kind of really sucks because this thing is really fun and awesome to drive. So I guess we'll be adding that to the list of all the cars that need done. Oh, the trailer. The trailer needs a whole new wood deck. That's coming up. That was something I didn't talk about. So the trailer actually needs a lot of work. A lot of the wood's coming up. The bolts are broken. And then it needs a set of tires. So we have to order a whole set of tires. And this is a hydraulic trailer back here. It's got these two big hydraulic rams. One of them's leaking pretty good. So it's kind of like everything sort of, don't mind my fro, I didn't do my hair today. Everything's sort of just slightly falling apart. We've been abusing things for a little while. That trailer's been awesome, but it just kind of, there's just adding and adding and adding to all the freaking things we have to do. Might go take the Bronco snow wheeling here pretty soon. Just please don't break it, because, well, that's not broken, but I was like, I think I've broken everything lately. Although my buddy was the one that blew the motor in the Corvette. So anyway, let's get back to Beck and Chris. I just thought I'd little cutaway and let you guys know what was going on there. So now I think it's supposed to snow, so I don't think I'm gonna have time to take off the ram off the trailer. Oh, Brittany's buggy needs a ram rebuild too. I have the kit for that.
So much to do.
So it's just so much to do. We have a million things to do, but the weather's about to turn crappy. And I don't know if I want to be out there when that happens. Oh, look, you already got the water pump on. As long as it took me to show them my bad water pump, you got that one done.
It's my beautiful LS upside down. Why? Because I have this nice gash here. We mentioned to you guys that we were gonna put a new oil pan on it, and it has arrived. So it's supposed to be lighter, right?
This one is a hair shorter. It's like, not a hair, it's 5 inches shorter than that one. So it's not as deep.
So graceful.
Yeah. This is a new pickup. It's shorter. And then,
Ooh, look at that. We don't even have to paint it because it's gonna match already. See, I knew that was a good color choice. We had to paint this one.
see how much longer it is? Because we don't have a cross member to deal with like you would in a truck or a car. This is a truck setup. The car setup would be in the front. But because we don't have either one of those to deal with, you can get away with this sump. So it's shorter, but it's longer, so it holds the same volume. I think this is 6.6 quart. We'll keep this farther up away from the ground. This is only 5 inches, I think, and this is 9, so we're saving 4 inches right here already. So that's gonna be sweet.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right, Beck got the oil pan off, and a while back, some people have noticed on the back of the block that the 4.8 is marked off on the back of the block, so everybody's telling me that it's a 4.8 and not a 5.3. Upon further investigation, now that the crank is off, or now that the wind is straight and the oil pan is off, you can see that this motor is very clean. And you're right, the block is stamped with a 4.8, but that number right there, 1255-2216, is guaranteed to be a 5.3 crank. So this is 100% a 5.3. So that is awesome news. So Beck is going to put the witness tray back on and put her new oil pan back on her 5.3. So excited. So there you go, folks. All right, fast forward a couple hours. All the front assembly is in. Looks pretty sweet. It's all black. All new pulleys, new alternator. This isn't tight because I don't have a belt in it yet. The Sandin style AC compressor, so that's pretty cool. We use the PSC pump, and as you can see, this is terrible. Somebody used stock style hard lines. This one does a loop-de-loop and then goes into the back of the pump. This is terrible. So we're gonna get some fittings and I'm gonna convert this to a pressure side PSC setup the right way and get rid of this loop-de-loop of stuff. So this is all gonna go away. On to the next thing. We need to put a condenser in there. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna have to do some modifying because the radiator sits really close at the bottom. So we're gonna have to move these saddle tabs that he has in here for the radiator. We'll have to pull them back a little bit. I have plenty of clearance here to the crank, I already know that. So we're gonna pull this out so that I can get a little bit more room in here for a condenser. And I'll probably mount it to the grill itself instead of to the radiator. It'll still be really tight so that I won't get any positive air pressure to go around it. So it'll be very efficient. I might actually block it off a little bit more so that we'll get full flow through everything. I also don't like this trans cooler. I don't know if I have an option to get rid of it. I'll have to see if I have one on the shelf somewhere, but that is next. So Beck's out getting belts right now, and as soon as she gets back, we'll wrap the front assembly up. I'm gonna pull some measurements for this condenser. Was not expecting that, but these are welded to the grill shell, and that's not what I wanted. So that sucks terribly. So we're gonna have to cut these off, and then I'm gonna have to figure out a different saddle setup for that guy. Awesome. But anyway, let's get some measurements in here for a condenser. We'll go from there. All right, so it looks like I can do about 18 by 16 condenser in there. So we'll have to get a condenser, a dryer, a trinary switch so that we can turn the fans on and off with the pressure, and some fittings, and some, I think I have some line laying around. I'll have to check, but let's go get that stuff ordered.
All right, so we have mocked these up for you guys to see how beefy this is. So this is 3/8 thick. Next Venture actually cut these out for me, and Chris drew them up. So he just sent it over and they laser cut it out. We didn't know it was gonna be this thick. Should be indestructible.
They're
like absolutely indestructible.
I think I asked him for quarter and he was like, well, I have some 3/8, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. There's lots of room here. The holes were a half.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, the holes were half.
Had to make them to 5/8.
Only because I didn't know what size. I didn't know what size ends we were going to use, so I just drew a 1/2 hole and we just cut them to size. So
yeah. So now I'm just going to go ahead and weld these up. Probably assemble them all together just like this one. Weld it up, and then we can start placing them.
Sneak peek.
So I'm getting ready to weld up my last lower control arm bracket. It went really well. I will say that because the material was super thick, this is 3/8. If I set it on 3/8 on the Miller welder here, it was just slightly too hot. I don't know if maybe my speed was off, but it was creating like a little bit of a ledge. Can you guys see that there? Kind of like a ridgy edge there. And I didn't want that. I really want it to be, you know, smooth like that. So it's not like it was too slow, because if it was too slow, the welds would have puddled up like majorly. So I just kind of had to play with that a little bit to get the settings right. But Chris and I have already tacked on the 2 front lower arm control brackets. So once I get this welded up, I will go ahead and take you guys over there and show you what's going on with the suspension, because we did spend some time placing everything out off camera, just because it was a lot of measuring and figuring and deciding. We were conversing a lot, so we didn't film it, but we will get you guys up to speed and let you know what we are doing. So I'll get this welded up real quick.
So it snowed 2 days ago because I was gonna go work on the trailer, get the ram off of there that needs to be rebuilt, but it snowed, so I couldn't get under there because the whole ground was covered in snow. And it's supposed to snow again in 2 more days. So it just melted enough. I think we can get in here, get under there and pull off this ram. Look how big this freaking ram on this trailer is. Well, there's 2 of them. So that's the leaky boy. That one looks fine, but these are huge. Those gotta be what, 5-6 inch cylinders? It looks like it's just this one bolt here, and that'll undo the clevis so we can then suck the ram in. And then there's just 2 bolts. There's 2 bolts down there. We're hoping it's that easy. We think it's that easy. And then of course we have to do the oil line, the hydraulic lines. Yeah, and that's gonna make a mess. That's gonna be fun. So let's get to that. This is kind of a pain in the butt. Try not to get dirty and get all this grease all over me. I can't reach the top of this bolt. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to really film very easily to get this out. But anyway, so those 2 bolts, and then we spill hydraulic fluid all over ourselves. Yay, fun. All right, here she is. That's a big bitch. Oh wait, it's zoomed in. Still a big bitch.
That's how we record.
Yeah, that's how you make things look bigger. Like, yeah. It looks, strangely enough, it looks like this cap is backed off. It's a mess and it's gross and it's off, so it's gonna need a rebuild.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that. Now to check the brakes. Yay.
All right, now that the brackets are welded up, as promised, I'm gonna go over all of this for you. There is a couple problems. Not problems.
Issues we have to figure
Concerns.
out? Concerns. How about
Yes.
concerns? That works.
It just means we have more fabrication to do.
Yeah,
More
now that we're
tinkering.
farther along, there's a couple of things we got to change that I kind of knew we're maybe possibly have to worry about. But now we do.
Yep. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you guys. So this is one of those things where one thing affects another thing, which could possibly affect something else.
thing.
Yeah, so we're gonna start off with the T-case. The T-case was moved over to the left originally with these motor mounts that Chris made.
In order to get the T-case to sit centered in this pocket with the least amount of body modifications. So we offset the motor a little bit to kind of sneak that in.
Because of that,
Now the link,
hits the bell housing, which then affects...
And I got like 5 inches here, which is going to put a 10-inch spread, and I don't want that. I want to try to get this link as far over as we can. So
we're gonna have to redo this motor mount over here so that we can do this and push this guy back over.
which will allow this arm to come in closer.
Yep, now we have more clearance.
So we did get these mounts here.
They're too short.
Yeah, they're way too short. Like that is,
Those are monsters.
those coilovers are huge. So those towers won't work anyways. So that just means we have more fabricating to do.
Yeah, different. Custom. It's all custom.
All custom, yeah.
So we have to reinvent the motor mount on that side a little bit.
There is a slight possibility, I'm being hopeful anyways,
Yes.
that if we get a different T-case, a smaller T-case, we will not have to cut.
Notch the floor.
Yeah, I really don't want to, but I mean, if worst comes to worst, we have to.
Yeah, so we're gonna reach out and see what we can get. See what's available right now. Not what we can get, but what's available, because you know, part shortages and stuff like that. So
Because now that we're scooching that back over, it's not going to clear up there anymore. So that's why we need a smaller T-case.
So first things first, we got to swing the motor over. And in order to do that, as you can see when I made this, there's like almost no clearance here. But that was just because the way the motor mount came out, I wanted to swing it around this as much as possible, but keep it as close. Anyway, if we pull this over, it's going to push this header back. So we have to remove the header and then swing it back. And I'm going to have to cut these guys off and pull them up the frame and make a new mount, probably. Probably, because it's going to go up the frame. So I'm going to have to remake this mount too. No problem. First things first, headers, cut that off. All right, so we got the frame all cleaned off. So all this is all gone. It's all polished up. Now we're gonna place the motor where I want it. We're gonna put the headers back on and then put a motor mount in it and see what we gotta do to make new mounts. All right, well, we got that guy mocked up, and so tomorrow we're gonna come back out here and make a motor mount. But for now, I'm gonna go in and get some dinner because it's getting late, and you know, good man's got to eat, right? So anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and share. Remember, you can get all your Lite Brite merch and decals at litebritstudios.com, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Kevin decided that he wants to wash the Bronco before we go snow wheeling, which is fine, except he's now taking it through the car wash, and we have no idea if the Bronco fenders will survive. And before anyone goes off about, oh, your paint, it's an off-road vehicle.
It'll have plenty of paint striping and everything else, trust me, my paint. Look at their fenders. Oh God. Look at their fenders. The Jeep fenders didn't last in this, but these are bolted on. So, except the one I ripped off already. That one's still
just kind of ripped off.
Well, the mirrors are still there. Oh. Here, roll down the window real quick.
Do not roll down the window right now.
Fix the mirror.
No, oh wait. Alright. All the fenders are still intact. The Raptor gets an A+ through, well,
What happens when
A- through the car
put
wash.
Portals and 40s on it? Will it still fit?
It'll probably no longer fit after that.